The Qin dynasty, 221 BC to 206 BC, was the successor to the Zhou dynasty and before the Han dynasty in Chinese history. The Qin dynasty was named after the state of Qin, which was victorious during the Warring States period, now in Gansu and Shaanxi provinces, established by Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor to unify China. During the Warring States period, the Qin dynasty emerged as the most powerful force thanks to the reforms of Shang Yang in the 4th century BC. In the middle and late 3rd century BC, the Qin dynasty carried out a series of conquest campaigns, first ending the Zhou dynasty, then invading the remaining 6 major states, ending the Warring States period. Although short-lived for only 15 years, the Qin dynasty had a great influence on the later dynasties of China, marking the beginning of Imperial China, a period that ended only with the end of China. The end of the Qing dynasty in 1912. The name that the West calls China today is believed to have come from the Qin dynasty. The Qin dynasty, under the leadership of Qin Shi Huang and the Prime Minister Li Tu, sought to establish a unified state with a centralized government and a large military system supported by a stable economy. The central government sought to remove the power of the nobility and landowners and gain direct control over the peasantry, who made up the majority of the population and labor force. This allowed large ambitious projects, such as the construction of connecting the city walls to the north, laying the foundation for the Great Wall. The Qin dynasty carried out a series of major administrative, economic, and literary articles, such as unifying and standardizing the writing system, currency, measurement, travel, and trade. Despite such measures, the Qin dynasty adopted the legalist school and wanted to quell other schools of thought. Confucian historians of the Han dynasty describes the Qin dynasty as an absolute dictatorship, in which the typical example was the burning of books and the burying of many different-minded scholars, ending the era of freedom of thought. In addition, the Qin dynasty opened a political campaign to the south, causing the territory to expand to the southernmost point of Guangxi or even to the north of Vietnam today. Qin Shi Huang, February 18, 259 BC to July 11, 210 BC, nicknamed Qin Tin Ying Ti Zhao or Qin, was the 36th king of the Qin state. Is also the first emperor to unify China after destroying 6 vassal states, ending the Warring States period in 221 BC. Religions. During the reign of Qin Shi Huang there were such religions as Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, Architectural. In this dynasty they had a famous architectural monument built by Emperor Qin. The Great Wall. In the north, the Xiongnu often harassed the border. To fight the invading Xiongnu, Qin Shi Huang ordered the construction of a large defensive wall. This wall is the forerunner of the later Great Wall. The Great Wall was built by connecting many sections of the wall that were built by the Qin, Tru, and Yan countries, stretching more than 5,000 kilometers from Lambao, now in Gansu province, in the west to Liaodong, now in China, northwest Liaoyang, Liaoning province, to the east. forming a network of walls connecting river defenses to impenetrable cliffs. Most of the aristocrats still lived a much more luxurious life than the commoners. These regional differences were seen as contrary to the unification that the Qin government wanted to achieve. Commoners and rural villagers, who made up more than 90% of the population, very rarely left the villages or farms where they were born. Peasants rarely appear in Qin literature. Common forms of employment vary by region, but most of them work in agriculture. Occupation is often hereditary. Usually a father's job is passed on to his eldest son after he dies. The death of the Qin. 3 assassination attempts on Qin Shi Huang caused him to become paranoid and obsessed with immortality. He died in 210 BC during a trip to the far east of the Qin dynasty in an attempt to find an elixir of immortality from Taoist magicians who claimed the elixir was stranded on a protected island, defended by a sea monster. Western historians suggest that he may have died from ingesting mercury in the elixir of life created by alchemists and medical practitioners. The fall of the Qin dynasty. After Qin Shi Huang died, 2 courtiers, Li Tu and Tru Sao, plotted to put the emperor's second son on the throne instead of the eldest son. Because of the weakness of the successor and the terrible oppression and exploitation of the Qin dynasty, many uprisings broke out, leading to the end of the Qin dynasty and the opening of the Han dynasty. Other the Qin dynasty interesting details. Government and military. Mausoleum of the first Qin emperor. Terracotta army. Government and military. Qin Shi Huang and his courtiers introduced many new laws. Qin Shi Huang also helped to make the army stronger, although it had already undergone extensive reforms. The Qin army used the most advanced weapons of the time. The invention of the sword during the Warring States period was a huge step forward. In the beginning, swords were mainly made of bronze. But by the 3rd century BC, the state of Qin used a stronger iron sword. The crossbow was born in the 5th century BC and proved to be more powerful and accurate than the previous bow. The Qin dynasty also had extremely powerful horsemen and chariots on the battlefield. Qin dynasty bows and crossbows. The Qin also used improved transportation methods and tactics. The Zhou dynasty first replaced chariots with cavalry in 307 BC, but this change was quickly adopted by other countries as cavalry was more maneuverable on Chinese terrain. In addition, Qin Shi Huang built and connected into a system of great walls in the north to fight the Xiongnu, laying the foundation for the Great Wall later. He also built an army of terracotta to guard himself from evil spirits in his massive mausoleum. Mausoleum of the first Qin Emperor. One of the great works that Qin Shi Huang built was his own tomb. Han Dynasty historian Sima Thien wrote in his history book that about 70,000 people were mobilized for the construction of the mausoleum. Tomb of Qin Shi Huang is almost like an earth pyramid, 76 meters high and nearly 350 square meters wide. So far this tomb has not been excavated. The tomb of Qin Shi Huang was designed as a complex of palaces and temples surrounded by citadels. In order to keep secret information about the entrance to the tomb and the wealth in which the Qin dynasty killed all the forces involved in the construction of the mausoleum by blocking the entrance to the tomb and burying them alive. The terracotta army was built next door to protect Qin Shi Huang after his death. This mausoleum includes many treasures. There are 100 rivers made of mercury, and crossbows are equipped to shoot at anyone who breaks into the tomb. Modern archaeologists have located the tomb and sent probes deep within. The probes revealed unusually high levels of mercury, about 100 times higher than in nature, suggesting that some parts of the legend are credible. The secrecy of the tomb is maintained because most of these are believed. The builders of the mausoleum were all murdered. Terracotta Army. The Terracotta Army, or the statue of soldiers and horses of Qin Shi Huang, which means the statue of the army and horses, is a population of terracotta statues of people and horses near the tomb of Qin Shi Huang. The Terracotta Army was discovered on March 29, 1974 near the city of Xi'an, Shaanxi Province, northwestern China. The Terracotta Army was buried under Emperor Qin Shi Huang of the Qin dynasty during 210 to 209 BC. Terracotta Army. These statues were discovered by a group of farmers digging wells on March 29, 1974. These soldiers were created with a series of clay mold mixtures and then continued hand personalized by artists. There are about 7,000 terracotta warriors, and their purpose is to protect the emperor from evil spirits in the afterlife. In this army there are many chariots and 40,000 real weapons of bronze.